right, guys. Hi, my name is Annika Aristomuno, and I am the president of Duke University Democrats and a campus fellow with the North Carolina Democratic Party's coordinated campaign. And I'm so honored to be here today on behalf of all the youth across North Carolina. And we are so energized and ready to get out there and elect Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. As the daughter of a public school teacher and an immigrant from South Asia, I see a reflection of my family values in this ticket. But that's not the only reason why I support them. The choice in this election is clear. Voters in my generation, in our generation, need and deserve leaders who are looking out for our future. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are leaders that will fight for me, my community, and my generation. They have a vision for a new way forward that will protect our fundamental freedoms, create economic opportunities, and preserve our democracy. So we've all been told that our generation will shape the future, but how? Well, this is the moment. This election is our moment to create change, bridge divides, and build a more inclusive future. Since this election is so crucial, it's really important that you guys get out and vote. And specifically, this means going and voting early at Karsh Alumni Center. Yeah. Which is right off of the C1 bus heading from West Campus, and just show up with your Duke ID, your physical Duke ID. Do not forget that part. And if you haven't registered to vote yet, you can still register to vote at Karsh Alumni Center and vote on the same day. You just need your physical Duke ID. And if you're an off-campus student, then you have to provide documentation from the university, showing your proof of residence, and then you can register and vote the same day at Karsh. Do not forget to go to Karsh. So I've heard from so many of my peers this week who are excited to knock doors, want to make sure they're registered to vote, and are ready to defeat Donald Trump and Project 2025 at the ballot box in November. And that's because there is only one presidential ticket who's going to protect our rights, freedom, and preserve our democracy. And I think you all know who that is, and that's Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. As a retired Army National Guardsman, a former high school teacher and football coach, member of Congress, and current two-term governor, Governor Walz has spent his career fighting every day to make a difference for the people. It's one of the many reasons why Vice President Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz to be her running mate. And it's going to take all of our collective action, our collective work to organize our community to make sure that Governor Walz goes from being Kamala Harris's running mate to the next Vice President of the United States. So we all know that our generation cannot afford another Trump presidency. And that is why young voters in North Carolina are ready to send a clear message on November 5th that we're not going back. And there's so much attention on our state right now for this election, and I know that all of you guys and all the other voters are ready to help elect Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz, but we can't sit on the sidelines. Although voting has already begun, our work is not over. This momentum needs to continue if we're going, and we are, going to flip North Carolina this election. As we all know, the path to the White House runs through North Carolina, and everybody here has the power to make their voice heard and turn the page on the extremism of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. This election, North Carolina is ready to elect Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz because they're the only candidates fighting to protect our freedoms and build an opportunity economy. We are not going back. Now, please give a warm welcome to the Governor of Minnesota and our next Vice President of the United States, Tim Walz.
Thank you. That was amazing. Wow. Annika, thank you. I'm voting for her, too. So there we go. Well, Blue Devils, thank you. This is incredible. You're engaged in this. You're ready to go. You're ready to win this thing. And this was about what a privilege for me to be here, but what a privilege for all of us. There are billions of people around the world could only dream of gathering as free people to determine our future together, the type of government we want, the type of society that we want to live in. So on behalf of Vice President, myself, and on behalf of all Americans, we're going to win this thing going right through Duke University. Let's go. Now, I know you all get it. You're engaged. We've got a door knock coming up. This is a time when a lot of people need to be reminded what's at stake here. And it's not about putting fear in. It couldn't be clearer, the difference in this. You've witnessed it on the stage. As Donald Trump descends into madness, Kamala Harris is out last night at a town hall taking all questions, answering the question, talking about those things. And for each of you, I know where it's at. This is now the ground game. This is now the door-to-door. This is now, and look, you're here, you're engaged, but I know you've got friends who are like, my God, I'm taking a nap. I'm not going over there to watch this crap. And that's what you do. There are choices you could make. You made the choice to come here because you love this country and know how important it is to be a part of this process. And right now, you're not talking about the next 4 years. You're talking about the next 40 years. And you're not talking just about what you're going to do for North Carolina or even this country. We're talking globally. Because I know you run into your friends who say, I'm sick of it. I'm just not that into politics. Too damn bad. Politics is into you. It's into you. This is literally, women's lives are at risk because of the policies they're putting in place. There's no laws that dictate men's bodies, and they want to put them towards women. We're not going to have it happen, and we're going to restore the protections of Roe. We know how important it is. You all get it. Things like climate change, things like jobs, trying to make life more affordable, the idea of buying homes, investing in this. Look, these things matter. Things like climate change that they're ignoring and doing nothing about, sometimes they pander to the youth, like we need the youth vote or whatever. Don't let anybody pander to you. The reason you're here is you're not going to let some old people who are going to be dead long before climate change does the destruction that it's going to be. You need to take charge of it. You need to make it. That's your voice being heard. And we see Kamala Harris with a to-do list for this country that is the to-do list that Americans want. We see Donald Trump with a grievance list. And so, look, I don't say this lightly because I didn't, in my 60 damn years, I didn't think I'd ever see a candidate for president praising Adolf Hitler's generals or talking about using the military against their enemies. And I mean, it's pretty stunning. And I said, look, I recognize I'm on the top of his list, but don't kid yourself. You're somewhere on that list too if you disagree with these people. That's who they are. And God asked last night, this guy's tendencies towards leaning towards dictatorship is un-American. It is absolutely horrific, the things they're proposing. But here's what I say is, you know what's great about that? He is never going to be president again. He is never going to be president again. And you don't have to go and vote against that guy, although there is some great pleasure in that. For some of you, this dude has been on the national scene since you've been in elementary school and middle school. There are so many reasons to beat this guy, but one of them, it might be petty, but I'm going to own it. I just don't want to look at him anymore on TV. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Because it's all about him. It's all about what he wants. It's all about what he says. That's not what this is about. You all learn this here. It's about servant leadership. It's about helping others. It's about contributing to your society. It's about doing the right things. And that's what all of you know you're doing. So look, the contrast couldn't be greater. The choice could not be greater. The stakes could not be higher. But I have to tell you, what a privilege to be in this moment. They are going to write about Americans who stood up in this moment and said, hell no to this, the tendencies of totalitarianism and the division and the racism, the hatred, the misogyny, everything else that goes with that. You're going to get asked, when you're my age, what did you do? And your answer is, I did every damn thing possible to win that election. I did everything possible. So on behalf of the Vice President, this matters, 12 days. It's going to be close. It is going to be close. I know you hear it a lot and you know it. This election will run right through North Carolina. And if North Carolina, as it will because of your work, goes for Kamala Harris, we win this election. And that is something. We win this election. So for all of you, for all those right reasons or whatever, but just imagine 12 days to make a mark on the world for generations to come. 12 days to choose dignity and integrity and kindness over hate. I saw a couple editorials that said, well, you know, joy is not a strategy or whatever. Well, no one said it was a strategy, but I would damn sure rather to stand with joyful people than hateful people in things, and that's a fact. And I would sure rather stand with the middle class. We celebrate people's success, but the idea it's just gross when it gets to this. You got a guy like Elon Musk trying to buy an election. Buy a bumper sticker if your parents or if you own a Tesla and say you didn't know how weird he was when you bought it. Just put it over the top and get it. But look, that's not who we are. There's a place for everyone. And the thing that I would just close with for all of you that I am most proud of on this, Kamala Harris has made it clear she wants to be president for all Americans. The policies she's putting in place are going to benefit the people who are going to vote against us, and she's perfectly happy with that. Understanding that this is not about our ideology, this is not about us, it's about the people, and it's about policies that work. And as I've been saying, I got asked the other day, what's one of the proudest things you did in Minnesota? We certainly protected reproductive rights. We have paid family and medical leave. We have the most aggressive move towards climate change of any state in the country to reducing that. That's what we're moving on. But when I got asked, if you had to pick one governor, what is it? Well, in Minnesota, every single kid in Minnesota goes to school, gets free breakfast and lunch. Every day. Every day. So that's morally the right thing to do, but it's also good policy because what we know is you get some choices in this world. And you can buy school buses and school meals, or you can buy prison buses and prison meals. We choose school buses. We choose the future. We choose forward. So for all of you here, thank you. Make sure the door knocking's happening. This thing is far from over. These 12 days will determine what it is. Donald Trump and his team thinks putting on ads, demonizing people on TV, and dividing us, and making up lies about people who are in this country legally just trying to make it way, they think that's going to win it. But they don't realize what's going to win it is each and every one of you going to somebody and encouraging people to their better angels, encouraging them for an optimistic future, encouraging them to a better way forward. And let's turn the page and just cancel the Donald Trump show, move into the future. Let's elect Kamala Harris. Thank you all.